Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really powerful tool that skilled communicators use all the time. It's a way of building a sentence to control exactly where your audience looks, and maybe more importantly, where they don't look.
All right, let's just dive right in with a little puzzle. We're going to look at a sentence that seems pretty simple at first, but it's actually hiding something. Or, hiding someone.
So take a look at this sentence. My wallet was stolen. We know what happened, sure, but there's a real mystery here, isn't there? The person who actually did the stealing, the doer of the action, has just, poof, vanished from the sentence. Our focus is totally forced onto that poor wallet. And this is a classic example. Mistakes were made. You hear this all the time for a reason. It's brilliant, really. It acknowledges that, yeah, something went wrong, but it doesn't point a finger at anyone. The person or people responsible are just conveniently missing from the picture. So what is this secret? How is this little grammatical magic trick actually performed? Well, the answer is in a specific structure that basically lets you become the director of your sentence, choosing exactly where you want to shine the spotlight. So let's go ahead and reveal the secret tool behind all these mysterious sentences. We are talking, of course, about the passive voice. To put it simply, the passive voice makes the receiver of an action the star of the show, the subject of the sentence. And that immediately pulls our attention away from whoever or whatever was actually doing the action. And you can see that transformation happen right here. In the active voice, it's all about the chef. The chef cooks. But when we flip it to the passive voice, the meal itself scoots to the front and becomes the new focus. The chef suddenly becomes kind of optional. And it's not random at all. There's a simple little recipe for it. You start with the thing that received the action. Then you pop in the right form of the verb to be and follow that with a past participle of your main verb. And see that last part, naming the doer? Totally optional. So mastering this core formula really is the key. Once you get this down, you can apply it to pretty much any tense in the English language. This is it. This is the engine of the passive voice. All you have to remember are these two parts. Some form of the verb to be, which is going to change depending on your tense, and the past participle of your main action verb, which just stays the same. And you can see that formula at work right here. Just look at how that first part, the to be verb, changes to match the tense. It goes from is to were to will be. But notice that second part, the past participle, read, sent, finished, it stays exactly the same. It's actually very systematic. So in the present tense, this is perfect for a regular repeated action. The mail is delivered. We don't really care who the specific mail carrier is. The important thing is that the mail shows up. For the past tense, it puts the spotlight on a completed action. The car was repaired. The whole point of the sentence is to emphasize that something was done to the car. And in the future, it tells us what's going to happen to the subject. The results will be announced. The focus is all on the results, not on whoever's making the announcement. Okay, so we've got the foundation down. Now let's explore how versatile this thing really is, because it's useful for way more than just simple statements.
You can easily tweak the passive structure to ask questions, to make negative statements, and you can even combine it with powerful modal verbs like must or should. It's a really flexible framework. To ask a question in the passive voice, it's so simple. You just take that to be verb and move it to the very beginning of the sentence. So instead of asking about they, you're asking directly about the project, keeping it as the main character. And making it negative is just as easy. You take your basic structure, the work was finished, and you just wedge the word not right after that to be verb. The focus stays right on the work and its status. The passive voice also plays perfectly with modal verbs. You just put the modal, like must, can, or should, right before the base form of be. This lets you talk about things like necessity or possibility, all while keeping the focus on the thing being acted on. So this brings us to the most important question, right? Now that you have this tool in your toolbox, when should you actually use it? Knowing when to pick the passive voice over the active voice is really the mark of a great communicator. Here's your simple guide. Use the active voice when you want your writing to be clear, direct, and energetic, when the doer is the hero. You choose the passive voice when you really want to emphasize the action itself, or maybe when the doer is unknown, or when you just want to sound more formal and objective, like in a science paper. And this is a perfect example. English is spoken all over the world. We use the passive voice here because the important thing isn't who speaks it. I mean, that's millions of different people. It's the fact that the language itself is spoken globally. The focus is, correctly, on the English language.
So, by understanding the passive voice, you haven't just learned a stuffy old grammar rule. You've gained control. You now have the power to direct your listeners' attention, to hide or to highlight information, and to completely change the entire feel of a sentence. So the real question is, how will your sentences be transformed?